I want to start with Apple.
Yeah.
Right, it's down 4% today. We got issues in the EU.
Yep.
China's banning government officials from using the phones at work. How do you view both of those things? And that's before we even get to valuation conversation.
Yeah, that's right. And I think we also need to talk about just global demand in general for smartphones slowing down. Analysts are expecting the orders for the iPhone 15 to pull back slightly. Then we've got the concerns, as pointed out, on the EU and just thinking about the vertical integration that Apple has used to create this moat, which without question has helped to increase their valuation. But now Apple responding to pressures and pulling back on, of all things, yet another connector, right? But just shows that, the EU is saying, well, look, you're playing outside of what else is happening, and we want to see parity. And I think, Apple succumbing to that pressure just shows that they are sensitive and understand, just based on what we've seen happen in the EU and other areas, they need to be sensitive, which is going to have repercussions across the board. And then not even to mention China and what's happening there. I mean, that's pretty profound, just kind of thinking about just an outright ban. That's going to obviously, I think that's not the end of where China has its eyes set, and we'll continue to see pressure, which has been a great market for Apple to be able to increase
I think it's
sales.
20% of revenues.
That's right.
Just from there. So you can't really afford a major issue over there, especially not at a time where you're talking about smartphone orders pulling back, where you're already in an environment where their revenue growth is much slower than it was.
That's right.
Not a year, not to mention 2 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so they have some serious concerns, and I think all of those things together and kind of where we're landing is what is putting a little bit of pressure on the stock. Now, we've got, announcements coming out about the new hardware, the 15 next week or whenever the
next week.
Next week, yeah.
Like 5 days or 6 days from now.
Yeah, and we'll see, what happens and how people react to what is expected to be a price increase of around $100 or so, mainly on the Pro.
So how should we think about valuation? Do you think we make too much of it? You obviously focus on valuation in everything that you do, whether it's a startup investment or what have you. The stock is well ahead of its historical average.
Right.
The stock is well ahead of where it was at the beginning of the year. I mentioned where growth rates are for revenues. We're worried about our iPhone numbers going to live up to what the expectations are. How should I think about valuation under all of those scenarios?
I think that is the right way to present a framework to think about valuation in light of everything that we've seen that's putting pressure that we really haven't seen at least converge at the same time around Apple. And I think that will put pressure on valuation. We do need to, and I think people that have a longer term perspective will likely say, okay, we've seen situations where there's been a little bit of turbulence in the past, and Apple has always managed their way through. I don't know if we've ever seen quite this many issues to address head on that present the headwinds, but I think long-term investors probably are thinking ahead to the future, while I think short-term traders are going to be a little bit concerned about their position.
Are you still asked all the time about whether you're at a cocktail party or walking here at the stock exchange, hey, this AI thing, is it as legit as the stocks would make you believe it is? And how do you answer that question today, now that we've been in this, I don't know, you want to call it a phenomenon, for 6 to 8 months at this point? Yeah,
I just had a great conversation with an executive at one of the big tech firms that's one of the leaders in the space, and we were just talking about how this truly is another platform shift. Historically, when we've talked platform shifts, even when it was, going all the way back 20, 30 years and, computers the size of this trading floor that now have the same computing power as in my hip pocket, right? We've historically seen those as hardware, but this is something a little different because AI is really more of a software shift, and I think it's a little bit tougher for people to get their arms around it. We're in the early innings. I think we're going to see great success in the things that people do on a daily basis, whether in their personal lives or professional lives. We talk professional. Think about the marketing folks that have to do this work. Maybe 60% of their job is doing lower level rote tasks like writing copy for emails. And AI can handle that, freeing people up to do more value-add things. Once we begin to see more of these use cases that are tangible, I think when we look to how this can improve consumers' lives and being able to manage tasks like setting up a trip, getting the plane tickets, booking a hotel, once people start to get their arms around that, the fascination has happened. Genie's out of the bottle with OpenAI and the prompts. Now we need to see some tangible use cases.